It's the original Time Lord nemesis of the Doctor. Welcome to the Time Treadmill. I'm Ron, and these are my sweaty thoughts about Doctor Who. I said today I wanted to talk some more about the monk, so here we go. The big reveal in the second half of the Time Meddler is that the monk is himself a Time Lord. Of course, they don't say Time Lord. That phrase won't be invented for a couple more years. They don't say Gallifrey. That won't be invented for even longer. But it does turn out that the monk comes from the same place as the Doctor, and the monk has his very own TARDIS, this one a Mark IV. That is a massive, massive reveal in this series. And again, yet another pivotal moment in the history of Doctor Who. This is the first point where the mythology of the Doctor and his people begins to be expanded. The interesting thing to me about the monk is that he doesn't have some evil plan. His plan is basically to alter the course of history and, in his opinion, improve it. He's already done so on numerous occasions, according to his own personal diary. He gave Leonardo da Vinci the idea of powered flight. He helped to raise the giant monoliths of Stonehenge using some anti-gravity devices. He's been mucking about in time for quite a while now. And here, his big plan is to alter the course of English history at a pivotal moment. Now, I'm sure I'm going to get the details wrong on this, and my wife will correct me tomorrow. But here's the gist of what happened in 1066. King Harold had only recently been crowned when a few months later there was a Viking invasion that landed in Hastings. King Harold and his army fight the Vikings, defeat them, and thus thwart this Viking invasion, but it leaves King Harold's armies greatly depleted and demoralized. All of which leads to the Battle of Hastings, in which King Harold is defeated by William the Conqueror, and English history is changed forever. So, speaking of changed forever, the monk's plan is to completely undo that, and instead to he himself defeat the Viking invaders with some modern weaponry, and sink all their boats, thus relieving King Harold of the need to fight the Vikings and deplete his army. And therefore, when the Battle of Hastings happens, King Harold will have a fresh army and will readily defeat William the Conqueror, and thus changing history as we know it. Now again, this doesn't seem to be some evil, nefarious plan. He's not doing this for some kind of profit motive, at least not apparently. He claims to be doing this in order to improve the course of history and make advancements happen faster. Maybe he has some ultimate plan in the future, but his goals don't seem to be transparently evil, and that's what makes him such an interesting nemesis for the Doctor. First of all, just the fact of giving the Doctor a nemesis of someone else from his own race and with his own technology, well, that's just good plotting 101. There's some great drama to be had there. And the interesting thing here is it's a difference in morals between the Doctor and the monk. The Doctor absolutely believes that you cannot alter the course of history, that to do so is terrible and immoral, and violates the code of ethics and honor of his people. The monk obviously disagrees. And so what you have here is the monk and the Doctor sparring off against each other, both intellectually and strategically, and through the use of proxies, like some stranded Vikings, and Stephen and Vicky and local Saxons. It makes for a great game of cat and mouse between the two of them. And of course, ultimately the Doctor is victorious. That was never in doubt. Ultimately, he disables the monk's TARDIS by stealing a dimensional stabilizer, which causes the interior of the TARDIS to shrink in size to match the exterior, thus rendering it completely inaccessible to the monk. With that taken care of, the Doctor, Vicky, and Stephen take off in the TARDIS, with time on its appointed track and with the monk stranded in 1066. It's just a great finale to the second season. I love every minute of this story, and I highly recommend it. And the thing is, the monk is a great character. He's a perfect foil for the Doctor, and he does return one more time next season in the Daleks' master plan. But here's my point. There is no reason that the monk could not return again today. If I, as a writer, was mining Legacy Doctor Who for some villains to bring back for a new story, I would grab the monk immediately. Here's a character that has been completely underused, and because he's a Time Lord, obviously bringing him back in the modern era with a new actor is trivial. It could also make for a very fun story, completely different from when the Doctor spars with the Master. The Master is certifiably insane, he's evil, he's twisted, and all of those things. Whereas the monk is a completely different flavor of character and would let you explore different kinds of story ideas. I wish they would bring back the monk. We've gotten so many other great classic villains, and he is just hanging out there waiting to be used and brought into the 21st century. So for you, Chris Chibnall, and everyone at the BBC, because I know you're watching these videos with bated breath, please bring back the monk. I'll be there for it. And that wraps it up for today and for the second season of Doctor Who. Tomorrow I get to explore Galaxy 4. I'll see you then.